Hey, everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another two filmmakers reviewing one film. But this is actually two Nicolas Cage fans reviewing one film and everything Nicolas Cage. It could be, we're focusing on Vampire's Kiss, but we're going to be talking about all Nicolas Cage, and until we don't feel like going any further. So, and today my special guest is
Cody Tudor.
There you go. And some of you might recognize him from doing some unboxing videos on my YouTube channel. So, Cody, I'm happy that you could be on a video with me. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, it's nice to finally talk face to face.
Yeah. Instead of just video to video.
Right.
So I had mentioned to you that I found, I think I showed some Nicolas Cage stuff that I found at Dollar Store on Facebook. And you asked, hey, have you seen Vampire's Kiss? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And you're like, what? Why, how can you have not seen Vampire's Kiss? And I'm a huge Nicolas Cage fan. He even lives out here in Las Vegas. I have not had the opportunity to kind of crash into him at a grocery store or anything, but a few people I know have. And but who knows, now that he's not broke anymore, maybe he'll move out of Vegas. But it's a good reason, taxes and cheapness is a good reason to be out here. But
right.
But I'm a huge fan, and looking through IMDb, I'm surprised I've only seen like half of his movies, maybe less. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on what it is. But and I want us to show off, if you have with you your Nicolas Cage films or Nick Cage films with you. I surprisingly don't have that many.
Oh, so being
such a huge fan, maybe I'm not a huge fan if I'm don't have a stack this big and it's only like that big. What about you?
Yeah, I want to say last time I counted it was about at 50. I've definitely hit all his direct to video and direct to Redbox stuff. Of course, I waited till they went on discount, but I still picked them up. I figured it'd be too many to show, but I've definitely got the majority of his stuff. So I mean, I'm all for seeing your Cage collection so I can silently critique it.
Yeah. Most of mine are either Dollar Tree, Zia Records, which is our kind of like a place out here to buy used movies and new movies, records, CDs, all that stuff. And a few are from Walmart. But I like collections. So if I see something that says Nick Cage collection, I'll normally buy it if I don't have the movies on it. But yeah, it's weird because I've been watching his stuff really since Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Big fan of Valley Girl, all that stuff, So yeah. I'm really surprised. So how many films do you have with you to show? 50?
I mean, they're not too far away to grab them, but I mean, I've got 6 or 7 kind of in the top 5 we were talking about earlier. But other than that, I don't really have too many within arm's reach.
Okay. So since you can look at them, which ones do you own?
Oh, I can give you a count, right? Let me get on that IMDb real quick. I can give you a count, or I can give you a pretty good list of what. It might even be a shorter list of what I don't have. I actually finally got in last week The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Amazon had it on sale for $7.99, so I finally grabbed that one.
Oh shit! I should grab it. I haven't even seen that, and I call myself a fan.
Oh, it's so good. And there's so many Easter eggs of Nicolas Cage movies, and he's talking to his younger self, which is him from Wild at Heart. I mean, it's so good. I mean, I've got Willy's Wonderland, I've got Grand Isle, I've got Primal, I've got Running with the Devil, I've got Color Out of Space, A Score to Settle, Between Worlds, which the majority of these are all his direct-to-video stuff. 211, Looking Glass, Mandy, Humanity Bureau, Mom and Dad, Inconceivable, Arsenal, Army of One, USS Indianapolis, Dog Eat Dog, The Trust, Pay the Ghost, The Runner, Dying of the Light, Left Behind, Outcast, Rage, Joe, the first Crudes, Frozen Ground. We're just at 2012. But I mean, I got a pretty good amount. I won't go
Yeah,
too
because
much further than that.
I think he goes back to like 1984 or something
Yeah.
like that, 1982. So, and you do know he's a Coppola, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so he's actually Nicholas Kim Coppola. So he's part of the Coppola family. So is Jason Schwartzman. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and these guys all changed their names. So Tally Shire, from the Rocky movie, she's a Coppola. So it's a lot of these people that we didn't even think came from the Coppola, bloodline are related. So he just didn't want to have his name Coppola.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to them for not trying to coast on their last name.
Yeah, because that's I think that the director when she was doing Valley Girl knew that he was a Coppola. And he didn't want that. He just wanted to use Cage. So
right.
she didn't use that at all. Yeah. So what I have, and I do have it in front of me here. So I have this is one of his worst best movies, and it's a ripoff on Top Gun, but with helicopters. So Firebirds,
yeah,
which is brilliant because it's Tom Cruise is pretty mellow and like subtle in Top Gun. They went for the exact opposite with Nick Cage in this one. I mean, when he's doing I guess it's kind of like the fake game where he's in the helicopter destroying everything, and he's just yelling, "I'm the best, I'm the greatest," like 20 times, and he's just screaming it out. This also has Sean Young, crazy Sean Young, and Tommy Lee Jones. So I had to get this because it's Kino Lober, and I'm like, why the hell would they release, Firebirds?
right.
That's weird. But and it's even got audio commentary from the directors, so it's like, okay, I'll do it. All right. And then 8mm, which is Scream Factory.
I still haven't upgraded that one yet.
Yeah, this is I have to rewatch it, I think. I wasn't the hugest fan because unlike the film Hardcore with George C. Scott, where it's his daughter that gets in the porn and he sees it on screen and just like breaks down. This is Nicolas Cage watching an 8mm film of somebody's daughter. He has no idea who she is. Like he's never met her before. And he's like, doing his Cage thing. And they're like, oh my God, this is horrible. And granted, it's horrible, but it's like, okay, you don't know her.
Right.
So, but I'll have to watch it again. Maybe, I don't know, maybe my opinion has changed. And then you mentioned this one, the Humanity Bureau, I thought was pretty good.
Yeah.
So like that one. You mentioned A Score to Settle, which I thought was a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, I didn't really get the whole thing and for people that are watching, this is going to have spoilers throughout the whole thing. So have you seen it yet?
Yeah, isn't that the one where he gets out of jail and he's trying to reconnect with his son?
Yeah, and it's not his son,
right?
Technically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that. Yeah, I wasn't, because I always go back and kind of be like, oh crap, really? And then I scan through it to see if it makes sense. Like, is he just standing there talking to nobody, and nobody notices this crazy guy just talking to a tree? So yeah, that stuff I think is not easy to do. And then of course you mentioned also Left Behind, which I actually like. I think I have it right here. Come to think of it. Yeah, I got it right here. I actually like these better. This is the Kirk Cameron one.
Right.
And this has all 3 movies on it. Now, I'm atheist, so I collect this type of stuff because I think it's hilarious. Right. And I guess these follow the book closer, because he actually does meet up with the devil in these. And I thought that this was better than this. This doesn't follow the book.
Right.
But I still enjoyed it because it's Nicolas Cage being, it's him being not as crazy, but he's still kind of crazy.
And I want to say that was his first one that actually got a theatrical release for a while.
Yeah, they wanted to make a second one. They did crowdfunding and nobody gave to it. So they never made the second book. And then a double feature of Dread and Drive Angry with Amber Turd. So great movie. If people out there have not seen it, Dread is awesome. And so is Drive Angry. But and then this one is a triple feature that I found at Dollar Tree. Trespass, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call New Orleans, and Stolen. And I've only seen Bad Lieutenant. I haven't seen the other two.
That's definitely the best out of the three.
He's pretty crazy in that. But I guess he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then I found this at Walmart for really cheap. Prisoners of the Ghostland.
Have you watched it?
No, I haven't.
It's pretty nuts too.
Yeah, it looks. Nicolas Cage even does the review. It says the wildest movie I've ever made, Nicolas Cage.
You can't beat that.
It's the only review on the box. Well, on the back there's more, but on the front of the box it's him. And then a triple feature, and I got this at Zia Records, and it's Joe, Lord of War, and The Frozen Ground.
It's a pretty good trilogy. Or triple feature, not trilogy.
Yeah, I haven't seen Joe or Frozen Ground, but I did see Lord of War in the theater when it came out.
That's probably also the best out of the three in that set.
And the last one, which is the one that we're here to talk about, is Vampire's Kiss. So this was I got at Dollar Tree. I hate that box. I really hate that box.
It's very generic.
Yeah, and he just looks dumb.
Yeah. They caught him in the middle of breathing or yawning or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just put these back here. Okay, and then later on we'll get into what we think are the best and the worst. So explain to me why you like, and why so many other people, I guess, like Vampire's Kiss.
For me, it's kind of like I'm not for sure, but I want to say my first Nicolas Cage movie I remember watching was probably like Face Off or Con Air. And that's kind of like, especially Face Off, that's some crazy Nicolas Cage. And just finding something that he made well before that was like crazy Nick Cage before it was crazy Nick Cage. So just, I mean, if it was anyone else in the role, I wouldn't like this movie. It's definitely, he's the whole reason this movie is as good as it is.
Now, I thought this was early Nicolas Cage, like at the beginning of his career. And I looked it up on IMDb. He did this right after Moonstruck, which won a bunch of awards. And so he was kind of riding high, and then he decides to do Vampire's Kiss.
Right.
Do you think that was the correct way to go, from like an Academy Award winning movie to Vampire's Kiss?
I mean, I don't think it hurt him. It's definitely something that probably slipped under the cracks if you weren't knowing he even made it. So, I mean, I guess a lot of times when you win an award, you want to kind of go the opposite. So you're not maybe the fear of being typecasted, maybe. But I mean, I don't think it did anything to hurt him. I mean, his career definitely didn't suffer after this movie came out.
No, it doesn't seem like it, because what did he do? We're going to be looking at his films, all of his films, a little bit later. So yeah, because it was like Moonstruck, Vampire's Kiss, Time to Kill, which I've never heard of. And then, but okay, so we'll say Moonstruck, Vampire's Kiss, and then Wild at Heart. So yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, and he's big on Wild at Heart. So I mean, that's definitely that little time frame. Those are movies he's pretty proud of. And this one, I don't know if it's on the DVD one you have, but I recently got the MVD. I think I'm saying that MVD Blu-ray of it, and it actually has commentary on it with Nick Cage and the director. And I don't know if he did too many commentaries, but this was one that I definitely wanted to listen to. And I want to say they did it recently for this release, and he still speaks fondly of that movie during the entire commentary. The
DVD that I have, which I think is part of that MGM stuff that Dollar Tree was picking up, nothing. You put the DVD in, it goes straight to the movie. I'm like, wow. Okay, well, let me hit menu. Goes right back to the beginning of the movie. I popped it out, tried it again, goes right to the movie. I let it play all the way through, thinking maybe then it would go to a menu, and it didn't. It just turned off.
Wow.
So like there's not even a trailer on this thing. I mean, they just dumped it on video and then gave it to Dollar Tree, I guess. So I wonder if I'm assuming there are other ones like the ones I have over here of like the Woody Allen movies and stuff are probably the same way. They're just like, well, if they're going to be selling them at Dollar Tree, then we'll just give them the movie and that's it.
Yeah, literally
So
nothing else, just a bare bones copy.
yeah, literally. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, not even scene selection, nothing. Um, so I watched it. I watched Vampire's Kiss for the first time today. I wanted it to be fresh in my mind. So I watched it a couple hours ago. I don't get it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't get it. Um, I'm guessing maybe down the road I could change my mind, but he's an asshole at the beginning, he's an asshole in the middle, and he's an asshole at the end. And I don't, there's no character growth, there's no change, there's no arc, there's nothing. And it does look like Cage is 100% committed to the film because that character needs to be committed. And everybody on that film I don't recognize, like the director, the DP, the editor, nothing. Like, who are these people that made this movie? Halfway through, like when he gets, when he does think he's the vampire and he's carrying the groceries, and there's the shot where you see like the blue kind of neon cross and he drops his groceries. I love that shot. I thought that shot was awesome looking. And I'm like, okay, so like I told people, spoilers throughout this whole thing. So I'm guessing none of these people existed. This is all in his head. So the vampire is fake. The therapist is fake.
I mean, it could be. Now you're making me wonder what I listened to on that commentary. I unfortunately didn't rewatch it today, as I probably should have, but I don't remember them saying anything about it being a big dream or anything like that. But to me, it almost seemed like they were just talking I don't know, just stories and whatnot about being on the set and just how they wanted this character to go. But I mean, I could definitely see it the way that you're talking about, where it could just be all in his head, or maybe he had that chance encounter with that lady that night at the party and just everything else kind of just, it's like, have you seen Vanilla Sky?
Yeah.
That almost makes me think of that, where everything at a certain point after that, none of it really happens.
Now, me being a huge Tom Cruise fan, I do like Vanilla Sky. I've seen it a couple times, but they give you at the end like a twist that he's actually been in like this, chronological freeze and stuff, and this is kind of all in his head, and that's what we've been seeing. So, and his characters does change throughout the movie. This, I just don't think he changes at all. I mean,
no,
I don't understand his reason for being a dick, because like in The Family Man, which I absolutely love, he meets up with Tila Leone and then dumps her, becomes like, and he's like a nice guy, but then he dumps her, and then he becomes like the big business guy, whatever his business is, and he gets the high-rise apartment, and that's all he's interested is money. And then he gets the chance to go back, kind of, a Christmas, carol type of thing. And he then becomes nice and then wants to date with her to see if he could start something up again. Once it's a change, he has a change.
right?
And I was not seeing this change. And this is 1988 is when the film was made. Oh, wow. Would this movie not be made today? I mean, there is the secretary, who I've never been a fan of as an actress, except I did like her in this, because at least she defends herself. And I did like her in Extreme Justice with Nick Nolte. Otherwise, I don't think she's a very good actress at all. But she was okay in this. And all the stuff he does to her, I mean, if this happened today, she would own that company.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
sure.
he rapes her, he assaults her, he stalks her.
Yeah, shows up at her house.
Yeah. And then and I did like the whole blanks thing. I thought was pretty good, but I don't know, she keeps just shooting at the ground, which I guess is to scare him. But he puts the gun in his mouth with the blanks, shoots it twice, and you can see smoke coming from the gun. Those are still blanks.
Yeah,
They would
right.
kill him. That character would be dead.
Right.
I mean, there was an actor that was on a TV show a long time ago called Voyagers, and it was this adult with a kid, and it was kind of like a Quantum Leap type of thing, almost, where they go to different time periods and all that. And on the set, the main actor, the adult, had a prop gun and said, "Hey, look at me," and put it to his head and pulled it. It blew a hole in his head, and he died. So even the air that is coming out of that gun blew his brains out. So it's like, so he puts the gun in, and I get what they're trying to do, like, oh, he's a vampire, he can't die. But yeah, I don't know. If I was Nick Cage, I'd be kind of scared to put that gun in my mouth, but maybe a little further away or something, or hold it like this or something. Not, wow, he went right in.
Right.
But the amount of stuff that happens to this poor secretary, and then all the businessmen just laugh at her. So I'm not really sure if it's like meant to be a commentary on the times, even though it's 1988.
Yeah, it could just be how those like men in power kind of thing, how they treat people below them.
Yeah. And then, yeah, and him like constantly yelling at her, and God, she should have never said that she wasn't sick, because that's when he comes to her house and she admits that she was just terrified of him.
Right.
And then, at the end, the brother comes to him, and they do like the staking, but yet you never see the brother after he's staked. So is the brother fake?
I mean, it definitely could be. It's one of those that doesn't it requires a repeat viewing, like what you were saying with the score to settle, to see if it lines up to where maybe none of this stuff's really happening. Which, if it's in his head, I guess it wouldn't matter if it lined up so much, because it'd just be a long dream or bad dream or whatever.
Yeah, because maybe like he meets Jennifer Beal at the party, at the bar, commenting on her earrings. And then maybe after that, like, she's in his head. Like, she never went home with him or anything. And that's, for some reason, that he thinks it's a vampire. I mean, I don't know why, like, the whole vampire thing was there. Like, it could have been a mummy. It could have been a werewolf. It could have been King Arthur. It could have been an astronaut. It could have been, why was it a vampire out of anything? There's nothing in the film that would say vampire, So it's not like one of his, one of the guys at the company he works for would comes out, he goes, "Man, you need to stop working late hours. You're like a vampire." There's nothing like that in the film for him to think he's a vampire.
Well, and didn't he run into her again later, and she either didn't remember who he was or pretended like she didn't remember, which would almost make you think that maybe that their first encounter wasn't much more than just a conversation at a bar, and maybe he thought it was much more than it was.
It's possible, because she's there with a guy, and after Nick Cage kills the girl, like, he bites her neck with his real teeth and then puts in the fake teeth afterwards. She's there, and then she brings the guy over, and that's when he's all full of blood and stuff, which people don't seem to notice for some reason. It's not Halloween. And he's on the floor, and then she disappears. So that could be in his head. And then she disappears. He goes out onto the dance floor, and then there she is with the guy. And he's like, "She's a vampire. She's a vampire." And she's, yeah, kind of like, "What? Who are you? I have no idea what you're talking about." But as they're dragging him out of the bar, she kind of does like a stare at him, like a little bit of acknowledgement, or like a little smile.
Right. Yeah, that kind of leaves it where it could go either way.
Yeah. And then there's the stuff with the bat. So maybe that's where the vampire thing comes in that he's thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, that what showed up when they were alone in his apartment or her apartment. I don't quite remember where they're at.
Yeah, it's his apartment, and he's with the black girl that he meets, that he screws over a couple times. And
Right.
and it's a big bat, like a universal Dracula bat.
Right.
And it's just not one of those little tiny bats. This thing is like devil bat size. And she freaks out, she runs, and they got the little kid upstairs who's watching them go in and out, and then the mom takes them away, and they're both laughing about the whole bat thing, and he sees that his window's open, and that's how the bat gets in. But I don't know. I've been to New York for a day, but I've never stayed there, so I don't know if bats are that big in New York, or if that's supposed to be Jennifer Beal. Maybe that's how she gets in and out. Is she flies in as a bat through that open window, because we never see him close it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be.
Yeah, and then with the brother, the secretary's brother, he has the tire iron, and he goes up to, I guess, to kill him or hurt him, and instead they got the stake, and I wonder if Nicolas Cage's character didn't kill himself, because in one shot I think he's holding it like this, like we would do on like a low budget indie movie, like, oh crap, the stake keeps falling, so just hold it right here. Right. And he's holding it, and then in the next shot, both of his hands are like this, and then he kind of goes like this and dies. And I don't know if it was just bad editing or bad continuity. And after that, after the brother pushes the stake down, we never see the brother again. Nick Cage just dies, and then we cut to Jennifer Beal as the vampire, and then credits.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I want to say, even though you're talking about how big it is, I want to say that they mentioned in that commentary they actually used a real bat. I'm kind of backtracking a little bit, but I want to say that they said they actually had a real bat for that scene.
Oh, really?
Which I'm sure I don't know if they'd really get away with that now. They just go the CGI route. Yeah, I mean, it makes you wonder, was the brother even there, or did he even die? I mean, that gives me hope for the sequel, I guess.
Well, I mean, if he was Keanu Reeves, sure, since Keanu Reeves seems to be doing sequels to everything that he's made. Now he's doing Constantine too. So, right. So if Nick Cage was, I guess, like Keanu Reeves, we'd be getting sequels to a lot of his movies. But yeah, that bat did not look real. If it was, I don't know what to tell you. It looked like the bat from the original Dracula. It just did not look real at all. So, and it looked big. It didn't look like a normal bat. So, and also all the stuff with the psychiatrist. He goes in talking to her, and then we see him at the end when he's got the stake and his tie's undone and the blood's all over him. It's on his mouth, and he almost looks like homeless and crazy. And he walks into a wall, and that triggers the therapist. And he's standing up in the windowsill, clothes completely clean, his hair is slicked back, but he still has the stake, which I guess is the filmmaker saying, okay, he's still in that, like, this is in his head because he has the stake. And he talks to the therapist as saying, I don't need you anymore. This is all bogus. And she introduces him to the client that comes in afterwards, who we've never met before. And she talks, and they have the exact same likes and dislikes, and they leave together. And so now I wonder, okay, so is all the therapist stuff fake?
Right.
Or is it just that one scene?
Yeah, because, I mean, that definitely makes you look in that direction, especially if he's maybe turning it off and turning it on, maybe what's in his head and what's not really there. Maybe he's just disheveled in his own mind and not so much in person.
Yeah, I'm very good. Oh, and what the hell was with his accent? He sounded like Madonna when she thought that she was British. It's like, just because you go live in England for a little bit and you're dating Guy Ritchie doesn't give you an accent. And her accent was horrible because it was there, then it wasn't there. And with Nicolas Cage, he was doing this weird British accent, I guess it is. And when he would be kind of on like a normal level, he could maintain it. But when he started freaking out, he would lose it.
Yeah.
So when he was doing like to the therapist, when he was talking about the filing cabinet, A, B, C, D, E, he lost it. That was regular Nicolas Cage. He had no accent. So it's like, is all of this fake? Like, is he just a like a New Yorker? Because he says that he was from, I think, Pennsylvania. I think is
so.
where he said, and then he moved to New York. So is that supposed to be like a New York accent? Is it a Pennsylvania accent? Like
maybe he's trying to do like the old aristocrat thing where they're higher up in society, so they have an accent, and maybe he's just trying to develop one to make himself sound more well-to-do than he really is.
I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was so weird to me that I don't know. I mean, it's a full movie. I mean, it's like an hour and 43 minutes. So I mean, they had enough stuff to work with, but I'm wondering if in the script or something, or it said, name British, or something, or if he's just like, hey, why don't I do this with a British accent or some weird accent?
And then just didn't do it all the time, and they just went ahead and went with it.
Yeah, they're like, okay, it's weird. It's Nicolas Cage. I guess he's been around enough now to where if we tell him no with the accent, he's going to leave, and he's coming off of, an award-winning movie, Moonstruck. We'll just go with it and see what he says.
Yeah, he's doing us a favor, so whatever he wants to do, we'll just let him do.
Yeah. Because as far as like movies that deal with people thinking that they're a vampire, I think, what's that film that's the making of Nosferatu? Interview with a Vampire? No, not Interview with a Vampire. Shadow of the Vampire.
Yeah.
And that one where the actor thinks he's a vampire in the movie, while he's making the movie, I thought was done better because
right.
And yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe this will maybe I'll like it better down the road. Maybe I do have to see it twice. Maybe
it's not a good movie. I enjoy his performance, I guess would be a better way of putting it, because it's just it's out there Nicolas Cage.
I think I'm definitely in the minority on this. I think a lot of people love this film. Like Nicolas Cage fans, I think, do love it. But I was shocked with the amount of abuse that was given to the secretary.
Yeah, he was a prick.
Yeah, and these woke people, keep pointing out old movies with this type of thing in it, and I'm actually surprised this isn't one, because I was a little shocked, and I am for women's rights and all that, but I'm not a feminist, and so I was actually kind of shocked while watching this, going like, oh my god, but this is 1988, so it was a different time, so I guess it's not acceptable, but maybe if you watched it back then, it wouldn't seem so harsh.
Yeah, it would almost just seem normal, especially if you work in one of those environments, I guess.
Yeah. So,
what it wasn't the bat. What was it? He ate something in the movie. Whatever that was real. What he ate something weird.
Roach, a cockroach.
That was real. The bat wasn't real. He ate a real roach. That was real.
I've heard about that, and so I paid attention to look for that scene, and I did rewind it, but you could tell he grabs it, and he kind of looks at it, and then he puts it in his mouth really and swallows it, and then turns and quickly leaves the camera. So I'm wondering if the turning and leaving was also real. Like, probably. Get this thing out of here, or like give me something to drink, or I'm gonna throw this up, or something like that.
Right. I don't doubt. I'm sure in that situation, they only got one take, and he wasn't going to do it again.
Oh no. Because those things spread diseases and everything. So it's
right.
not, not like he's eating a grasshopper,
Yeah.
And the other thing with the secretary, I'm like, what do you do? Like, what is your job? Because she complains that he's given her so much work to find this contract. She only has 3, the big, but it's 3 files. You could literally get that done in a day. Now, she said that she has a lot of other work from other people. Okay, I get that. So go through one file and then work on other people's stuff. The next day, come in, go to the Cage character. Hey, I went through one file. It's not in there. I'm going to go through the second file today. Go through that file. It's not in there. Do the other people's work. Next day, come. I'm looking at the file and I'm like, okay, it's sitting up. And there's only 3 big folders.
Right.
If you're literally just flip, not it, flip, not it, flip, not it, flip, because when she's not like reading all the files, and we don't see her doing anything else. It's not like any of the other people in the company are coming up to her going, hey, why aren't you getting my work done?
Right. Yeah, it definitely, she doesn't seem as overwhelmed as she likes to think she is, or is acting like she is.
Yeah, and then she comes in and says, hey, can I get help? My eyes hurt. And at that point, I didn't blame Nicolas Cage's character for going, oh, boo-hoo, your eyes hurt. I mean, that's how shit is delegated. The people that make more money, shit goes down river, and then it's, and so she gets the shit job. And then, it's kind of like in, did you ever see Swimming with Sharks with Kevin Spacey? So it's a great movie, and it's about Hollywood, and it's a producer, and he gets a new assistant who doesn't put up with his shit. Like Kevin Spacey's like he's actually based on a real guy. The writer director based him on somebody real, which is why after the film came out, the director did not have a career. And but the thing was, he has an assistant before the new assistant, and he points to him and goes, he's now going to go work for Universal. He actually has the same type of job I have over at Universal. All you have to do is just deal with my shed. And the new assistant wouldn't deal with his shed. So it's like, if you did deal with his shed and you played along with the game, he might recommend you, and then you can maybe go to Warner Brothers.
Right.
And that's kind of how it works. But she was just, oh my God, there's so much work to do, and I don't know what to do. And it's like, well, what are you doing? Because I don't see you doing anything.
Right.
So maybe if you found that contract quickly, within like a couple days, he might be impressed and help you move up.
Yeah. And it also seemed like, I don't know if it was, I mean, I'm sure it's a big firm, but I mean, it seemed like she was in there with a lot of other secretaries. So it's not like everything was just on her for this entire firm, and that everything's on her shoulders.
Well, and most people at his level have their own secretary.
Right.
So it might be that it would be like him, his secretary, and then maybe her, because he did say that she was like the lowest on the totem pole because she just started.
Right.
And she would probably have to report to his secretary. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't. If somebody else came up to her and said, why are you focusing on his work and not mine? I might be a little bit like, okay, maybe she does have a lot of work to do. But we never saw that work.
No.
But once again, I was never bored. It's an hour and 43 minutes, which kind of made me go, ugh. Because I just like movies being 90 minutes. Unless it's Terrifier 2, then I don't mind the 2.5 hour running time. But yeah, I don't know. I liked a lot of it. I like the idea of this guy going crazy and thinking he's a vampire. I just, him looking in the mirror, I thought was great. And he's like, where am I? Where am I? When he's in the bathroom, the restroom, and you could clearly see him in 2 mirrors, but he can't see himself. And then there's a guy in one of the stalls going, hey, do you mind? I'm trying to take a shit. Can you get the fuck out of here and go to the ladies' room and find yourself? Which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So it definitely has its moments. And I think the New Yorkers pretty much reacted how they would to somebody like him. Like, they see this every day.
Right.
And so it's not really that big of a deal unless he comes at them and then they kind of like move to the side and it's kind of like, get away from me. And Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I liked it, but I didn't. I
I
guess I
wonder if
didn't.
I
Oh,
wonder
go
if
on.
nostalgia plays a lot in it, because I mean, you're just now watching it. I mean, I didn't watch it when it came out, obviously, but I mean, I saw it at least 15 to 20 years ago. So I wonder if it's maybe just I didn't even know this movie existed and just happened upon it like one day. Like I saw it on TV, and I was already a huge Nicolas Cage fan, so I just put this with so much of his other stuff, and maybe just forgave the problems with it and just focused on just him being Nicolas Cage.
Hmm. And you were okay with like his craziness and his weird acting and all that stuff?
I mean, that's my favorite kind of Cage.
I mean, it's weird because yeah, because he could either be kind of normal Nicolas Cage, like Con Air, The Rock, where he's just like the action guy, and or he could be yeah, like Mandy or one of these things where he's just flipping out, and it yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like there's been memes of Al Pacino where it says, "Has anybody seen this actor?" And it shows one picture of him like freaking out, and then it shows a picture of him from Godfather 2, because they are two totally different actors.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so people don't, and I think it was A Scent of a Woman, maybe, is when he started the kind of the whole ooh type of thing and yelling at people and kind of freaking out. That's kind of when he changed. I think it was around that time.
And it just never really left.
Yeah, but Cage seems to kind of go back and forth depending on what you want from him.
Right.
Like Pig, I haven't seen Pig, but I've seen the trailer and scenes from it. He looks pretty mellow.
Oh yeah, he's just an everyday guy in that movie. Just trying to
Yeah.
get his pig back.
So, at times just being quiet is better.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen Willy's Wonderland?
I have, and I didn't like it.
What about the fact that he was able to do that movie without talking?
That I liked. Apparently Nicolas Cage is a huge sports car fan. So now he has to be in a sports car in every movie. Maybe that's from Gone in 60 Seconds. I don't know, but
Right.
because he also does it in like Drive Angry and stuff. But I did like how he doesn't talk at all. I just thought the film looked really cheap.
Yeah.
And I did like him in it. And I mean, I was in something similar like that. I worked on Night of the Zomghouls, and
Then we just talked about that the other day. I was like, I didn't even know you were in this, and I'm watching it on Tubi.
yeah, I'm at the beginning, and then I helped. I was one of the assistant directors and camera and stuff like that, and that was our version of what is it, Five Nights at Freddy's,
Yeah.
and I guess Nicholas Cage's is that's his version, but yeah, I mean it was okay, it was all right. I don't know. It's like, why is there a pinball machine in the kitchen?
Right. Yeah.
I look at stuff like that where a lot of people I don't think care or notice. But it's like, well, that's a weird place to put a pinball machine. Maybe I don't know. I mean, maybe people do in those type of places. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, I could see maybe if it was their break room, but if it's in the kitchen, you don't want anybody playing games. They're supposed to be working.
Yeah, and they're around knives and sharp things. So it's yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of that one. I thought it was okay. I thought it was all right. So because he's hit and miss with me. I like him. I like him as an actor, but he picks films that, like A Score to Settle, that I just didn't really care that much about, especially when I found out the twist. It was like, oh, okay. I would have really preferred this just to be a father and son thing. I think would have been nice.
Yeah. I almost wonder if that got added afterwards. Like, oh, well, maybe this isn't going to hit that good, so let's put a twist at the end. What I do like is I know a lot of these direct-to-video and Redbox movies he was making was because he was trying to pay off his taxes, and those are seemingly paid off. So I think his last few years of filmmaking is him actually doing stuff he wants to do, which is a lot of this weird Pig, Mandy, Willy's Wonderland, all this stuff that isn't going to not traditional Nicolas Cage movies. And I like that it's actually, especially Pig, it's giving him a lot of recognition that he hasn't gotten in a long time.
Well, and I hope that he recognizes that, because it seems like people like him a lot more when he went bankrupt. When he owed the IRS all that money. Once he started making these really bizarre movies, apocalyptic, like post-apocalyptic films, it's, I think people, the Color of Space, I think people like him more because it's not really, I didn't see Con Air or The Rock because of Nicolas Cage. I saw it because it was Con Air and The Rock.
Right.
I liked who was in it because it's kind of an ensemble cast in both films, but I didn't see it because it was him. But now I see movies because it's him.
Right. And with him, I'm glad he's not like what you were just hitting on. I'd rather him hit the Otter Choice or something that you wouldn't think he would be in, instead of maybe a safe movie or another Redbox movie, or, direct to streaming. At least he's taking chances and picking some of these things. And I think a lot of these movies, if it was somebody else, I don't think it would be as good of a movie, even though he's not, especially like Pig, he's not going crazy Nicolas Cage, and he's just an every guy, and he still can show that he can bring it in that aspect if he wants to.
Yeah, I had a zombie idea that I wanted to have him in, and then the Walking fucking Dead stole my idea, and it is basically Groundhog Day with zombies, and what they did, like web episodes, and this is recent, and they did one with, I think it's Parker Posey, and it's Groundhog Day with zombies, and somebody told me about it, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And it's my fault for not writing it, and I googled it and everything. I'm like, Groundhog Day zombies, and like nothing came up, and I'm like, oh my god, this is like an original idea, kind of. And so I just never sat down to write it, and I thought he'd be perfect in it. And oh well, now if I write it, and I had the idea before, I've had the idea for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And now if I do it, it just looks like I'm ripping off a web episode from The Walking Dead. So I don't know, maybe something else. Mom and Dad, I thought was really good. I liked Mom and Dad.
Yeah, that was the first. I think that was the first time I got to see him in theaters since, I want to say, Ghost Rider. So I mean, that was, even though it didn't get a big run, it was in theaters for like a week. I had to go 30, 45 minutes to go somewhere and watch it, but I still got to see it. Like him doing the hokey pokey, taking out that pool table, that was good enough for me. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I like the whole thing of all the parents going nuts.
Yeah.
And I thought was pretty funny. So, because it's true. I mean, I think I saw maybe something on YouTube, maybe I rented the movie, I'm not sure, but I saw some behind the scenes thing, and they were talking about how parents constantly say to their kids, I want to kill you. I've heard it, I don't know how many times, that like Walmart and other stores is it's just like, if you touch that again, I'm going to kill you. And they mentioned that this is that, what if the parents did kill the kids? They just didn't say it.
What's kind of odd about that is, as a parent, like, you can definitely say that and it doesn't hold any weight. But like, if your kid said that to you, it'd be a whole different story.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because a parent can use the, I brought you into this world, I can take you out.
Right.
So there's nothing that a kid could say that's like that. Okay, well, you brought me into this. I guess they say you brought me into this world, but I can take you out. I guess maybe they could flip it or something, maybe
put some kind of spin on it, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just not as good. So
right.
It's well, do you want to get into like top films and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're my guest, so please go first.
I also did, I don't know if you want to do the top ones, then I also picked a bottom 2.
I got top 5 and bottom 5.
Okay. I'll do the top ones first. I couldn't find one of mine. It's one of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies. Have you seen Matchstick Men?
Oh, love Matchstick Men.
That's definitely my top 5, but for some reason I couldn't find it. So we're just gonna do top 4.
But well, that's okay. I just have mine written down. So
Okay. Well, I went
yeah,
ahead and grabbed them since, but I've got no particular order. Bad Lieutenant is one of my favorite
okay,
Nicolas Cage movies. It was kind of one of the
that's a
first
good one.
direct to video that still had a great cast, and he's just, and that one also, like, he almost has like a James Cagney voice every once in a while. So I mean, that was also him just doing a weird thing. Also, I've got Lord of War. I really like
Okay.
that one. That was a good one. Jared Leto's really good in that movie. I like this movie, even though you didn't, and that's okay. I like
I think I just need to watch it again.
it was good. Joel Schumacher and Joaquin Phoenix is good in it. And then we were just talking about it, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, okay. Selma Blair, love Selma Blair.
That'll be my four. Number five would be Matchstick Men. I mean, I'm sure I could spend more time on it and rearrange it a lot more so, but I kind of went on maybe not so much his big hit ones, but those are my top five.
Okay, then my top five, and I just have them written down because I don't own all of them. Now, actually, I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't know if this is exactly top five, but I just had to pick five because he has so many good films. The Weatherman, Kick-Ass.
Weatherman almost was in my list too. I really like that one too.
It's like, okay, I mean, so we'll kind of go over some of this stuff, but so I wrote down five that I definitely know that I could watch, even though I know there's probably like 10, but I didn't want to go that route. I said five. I'm going to stick with five. So Valley, in no order like yours. So Valley Girl would be one.
Okay.
The Family Man would be another one.
That's a good one.
It's probably the best thing Brett Ratner has ever done. Surprisingly, there was some passion put into this film where his other movies are just stale and static.
Right.
Adaptation, I thought he was great in.
Yeah.
And the one thing I like about that is the screenwriting teacher that he goes to see is a real guy. I took his class when I lived in Pasadena.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Matchstick Men, I wrote down, and Knowing.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, and that's him being calm. So
yeah.
Valley Girl, calm. Family Man, calm. Adaptation, calm. Matchstick Men, calm. Knowing, calm. So maybe I like his calm movies better than his freak out movies.
I think I like that we kind of picked. You went normal Cage. I went a little crazy, with the exception of a couple. But I mean, Matchstick Men, it's still in there. Like when he couldn't get his pills, and then freaked out on that guy and asked if he's ever pissed blood while he was in line at the pharmacist trying to get his pills, and he finds out they were placebos or water pills or whatever they were.
Oh, that's funny. I remember I loved The Weatherman, and so I went to go visit my grandmother, who was probably at the time in her 80s. And I'm like, oh, look, this is a really good movie. I forgot how much he said fuck in it. And because Michael Caine is in it, and I know, it's like, okay, well, you're somebody that's more of your generation. And she just hated it. She hates swearing. She'll deal with nudity, violence, but no, not swearing. That was my grandfather the same way. You could blow somebody's head off and he'd be fine with it. But if somebody went, fuck, that was a good explosion, he'd be like, done. So she sadly did not like The Weatherman.
Yeah, because his daughter had a mouth in that movie too. And what's funny is before you got to the nudity part, I was gonna say, didn't he have at it with one of the people at like the, oh my God, where did we just go? Did I lose you?
No, you're there. No, you're fine.
Okay. Didn't he have it out when he was like doing like the Lincoln reenaction thing? Like he had to do some public appearance, and there was some lady working it when he was all in his little Abraham Lincoln outfit, and they ended up having it like in the back room or something at one of those. He's talking about how he gets to go and do all those like those little public appearances to make all that extra money. And it was like a Lincoln memorial thing, and he had like the full beard and like the big stovetop pipe.
Yeah.
And then ran into some chick there, and they end up just like having at it like in the dressing room or something like that.
Why did I show this movie to my grandmother? Why? What was I thinking? I don't remember that, but I remember him in the costume. So now I got to question my judgment on what I showed to my grandmother. So oddly, she did love I Am Legend with Will Smith. Oh, he's such a wonderful actor. My grandmother's a little racist, so I'm actually surprised that she liked it.
Right.
But you know, and of course she does like the guy who, you know, who assaulted, you know, Chris Rock on stage.
Well, of course.
So yeah. So it's like, I don't know, Grandma. Maybe both of our judgments aren't very good. So now, what about? Do you have like? You said you have a few that are worst.
Yeah, I have two. I mean, I'm sure I could do more than that, but with him, there's probably more if I'm picking like it was a bad movie and maybe not so much his fault, but when I was looking at what I had, the two I grabbed that I remember that I've only watched once, so maybe that's a reason, but I remember watching them and just couldn't wait for either one of them to be over. And one of them was Season of the Witch with Ron
I like
Perlman.
Season of the Witch. I saw that in the theater at a sneak preview. Yeah, I'm one of the
Maybe I
only
need,
people who likes that movie.
maybe I need to watch it again. And the other one I got is Outcast with him and
That I
Hayden Christensen. They're
Oh
like
wow.
knights.
Oh, I know of it, but I don't own it. That's one I should get, I guess.
Well, maybe I need to revisit Season of the Witch then. But I mean, a lot of his stuff, if I didn't like it, I'm like, well, he was all right, but it was just not his kind of movie, and then it just kind of went on the shelf with the rest of them.
So my list, this is once again written down. I It's not that I think that these are terrible movies, but they are bad films. And like you, I mean, it's I like him in them. They're just not the best movies. So I do have Firebirds is my number one. In
Okay.
this is no particular order, but Firebirds is number one because it really is just a Top Gun ripoff, just with
Right.
helicopters. Left Behind, because I was very disappointed that it wasn't based on the books, the really awesome books. The Wicker Man,
What?
which he is hilarious. And have you ever seen the original Wicker Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the original film is great. He is Everything in this film is awful. What you know, I mean, I love the bees. I mean,
There's
that's
a
that.
there's a reference to that in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Oh,
So
really?
like,
I need
yeah,
to see that. I
yeah.
really do.
It might still be on sale.
I'll check it out then.
Yeah.
Trapped in Paradise.
What?
I do not like Dana Carvey.
No.
I'm not a John Lovitz fan, and I thought he was okay. But it's another one of these weird Christmas movies, like Mixed Nuts with Steve Martin, and it's like, is this meant to be funny? Because it certainly doesn't feel like it. There's,
It was definitely an odd choice for him. I don't know if he's made anything else kind of like that.
yeah. I mean, it's something I could watch it again, but I really don't like Dana Carvey. I
Yeah, I mean,
really
if
don't.
if you don't like him or love it, I mean, that's definitely gonna be hard to get through that movie.
No, I do not find him funny at all. I mean, the church lady was funny twice, and that's about it. Well, I liked him in like the Wayne's World stuff. I thought was fine. But and then Willy's Wonderland. Just thought it was cheap. Just yeah, thought it was okay. Just you know. But they're ones I could watch. They're just not. They're. I wouldn't if somebody came over. I would not recommend these to watch. I'd recommend the other ones.
Yeah, I mean that Willy's Wonderland, that definitely he was the budget of that movie.
Oh
For
yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I wonder for those types of films, like what his salary is. You know, especially with having to pay back the government and everything. Like yeah, I wonder if your film has like a $10 million budget if he's not 8 million of that. Something like that.
Yeah, or if it's one of those where they can just try to get all his stuff rushed in a day or two, and maybe it's a lower rate because they only really need him for a couple of days.
Yeah, it has to oh seal. Because I'm not sure if he's one of those guys like Bruce Willis, where they know they have him on set for 4 days. And so they got to shoot all of his stuff quickly. But we found out the reason for making all of those bad direct-to-video movies. And that was because of the disease in his head, you know, which was very unfortunate. So as I'm sure a lot of people were like, oh my God, look, here's Bruce Willis. There's another Bruce Willis. There's another, they all say, and Bruce Willis. And it's just like, what is this guy doing? He's making nothing but garbage. And now we know why, which is unfortunate.
Right.
So, But I think with Cage, I don't know if you could get like a day's work out of him for like $1 million or $10,000 or whatever it would be, 20,000. I'd be curious to find out what he charges for that type of stuff.
I mean, definitely, at least like we were talking about earlier. I mean, he's not rolling out like the majority of the movies I got of his were, I'd say, probably within like a 10-year time frame of just, it'd be, every month or two, maybe even 2 or 3 months. Like he had another movie out, and at least it's a lot more fewer and far between. At least he's being a little more pickier and selective of what he wants to do. Like I'm excited to see him play Dracula in that Renfield movie coming up.
Yeah, that could be. Well, yeah, there's those pictures of him, right? As like Dracula. There's like ones where they say like Nicolas Cage is like 500 years old.
Yeah.
And then he's a vampire. He is a vampire. So it's yeah, and I wonder if a lot of it has to play into it, if what type of film it is. If it's a like jiu-jitsu, or if it's like that Ghost of the Wasteland, or something that's more interesting, mom and dad, with parents killing kids, that maybe he's not as doing it for the money,
right?
That he actually has an interest in, like he reads the script for Mandy and goes, oh wow, this is crazy, I want to do this, I like the director, so let me do it. Or something like The Color of Space, he's like, oh, that's H.P. Lovecraft and Richard Stanley, so let's I'll do that. So I don't know, it'd be interesting to sit down with him and kind of pick his brain to see how he chooses stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense that if you're behind a project, you might not see it as work, so you might want to cut a better rate. But I mean, who knows if that's even an option for a movie star, or if they just still want to get their money, they just might appreciate it more.
Well, I think now with him doing that, what's the one where he plays himself?
Oh, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah. Now that it's acknowledged that Nick Cage is great, that he's now this almost a national treasure, that he is right up there, I think, with somebody like Keanu Reeves, or these other people that may not be the best actor or pick the best films, but we love them for who they are. So I think he's now hit that plateau, because I've watched a ton of interviews with him on like YouTube, and he seems very down to earth, even though he's eccentric.
Right.
And like one was him answering questions from the internet, and he said, who do you think did the better job, you playing John Travolta or John Travolta playing you? And he goes, well, John Travolta, of course. So like he never in these interviews said himself on anything. It was always the other person. And I've noticed that's what like Keanu Reeves does. That's what a lot of these people do, is that they never say themselves, well, what was the best part of this movie? Oh, me. I'm obviously the best part of this movie. I've never heard those guys say that. It's always the director or another actor or something. And even though Nicolas Cage, when he comes in with like the leather jacket with the studs on it, and he's got like the Elvis glasses, and he's obviously eccentric, he seems to be nice eccentric.
Yeah, they have the special features for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It's the premiere when they premiered it at South by Southwest, and it's him with the cast, and it's like he doesn't even want to talk about himself when he's getting, because of course he's getting all the questions from the audience, but it's him talking about like his co-stars and the director, and like he's obviously everyone's there for him, but he's still not going to make it about him.
Right. And yeah, so I'm hoping that that's really what he is. It's and it does seem like it. So so I thought one thing that we could do is just kind of go through his list of films and just, do we like it, do we not like it, that type of thing. Because I have IMDb open here,
and we're going off the movie, not his performance, right?
Because yeah, you can say both. Oh, I like the movie, I thought he did a good job, or oh, I like the movie, but I didn't think he did a good job, or I thought he did a good job, but the movie wasn't good.
Okay.
Whatever we want. So, and so down at so I'm starting from the very first thing that's listed here. Well, actually, I want to see something. He's listed as director. me see. What is it for director? Oh, he directed Sunny. I did not know that.
Oh yeah, like 2003, I think 2004.
Yeah, that's James Franco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did not know that. I guess he did not like directing because he hasn't done anything since. Producer too. Let's see. So, Long Legs pre-production, Sand and Stones producer in production. Okay.
So I wonder if that's separate, because doesn't he have his own production company? Isn't it like Saturn Films or something like that? I wonder if that's separate, since it's his production company doing it then.
Maybe. Well, here now it says, producer upcoming are 2, but he has 17 previous producing films. So Unbearable Weight, he produced. Pig, Willy's Wonderland, A Score to Settle. He goes between producer and executive producer. Vengeance, A Love Story. I don't know that one.
It's okay.
Can't Stand Losing You. 1,000 Words. Sorcerer's Apprentice. God, I forgot about that one. Bangkok Dangerous. Next, producer. I enjoyed that one.
I liked it.
TV show, The Dresden Files. 13 episodes he was executive producer on. Oh, The Wicker Man. Sorry, dude.
That's all right.
So, nothing was good about that. I mean, it's hilarious to watch. That I would watch with friends.
Yeah.
Lord of War, The Life of David Gale, and then Sunny. Okay. So those are all the ones that he produced. So then actor, so this I've never seen. It's a TV movie, The Best of Times, and he says Nicholas Coppola. That was 1981.
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982, as Nicholas Coppola.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I don't really remember his part too much in it, though.
He's just one of the background guys. Like if you watched it, since the film is a who's who of like upcoming actors, he's one of the guys that's in the groups. And it's just like, oh, look, that, if you watched it today, you'd be like, oh, that's so-and-so and so. Oh, that's Nicolas Cage. You would point it out. To me, there's 2 movies that are exactly what the 80s are. One, of course, they were both made in the 80s, but if you wanted to give a younger person, like somebody in their 20s, like if you really want to know what the 80s is like, don't watch a movie now that takes place in the 80s. Watch either Fast Times at Ridgemont High or The Breakfast Club. I think are perfect examples of pure 80s.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because that's, at times you see these movies and they overdo it with the 80s stuff with like the collars all up and all that. And no, it happened. My collar was up. So, I mean, that's, the 80s were my time. So, Valley Girl, 1983. I thought he did a great job in.
Yeah, I like that one. He was good.
Yeah. So it's interesting. He goes from Fast Times at Ridgemont High, and then 1 year later, Valley Girl, where he's like the male lead in it.
Right. Yeah, that is a quick turnaround.
And I think that's pre-nose job. Because he did get a nose job at some point. I'm not sure when, but yeah, his nose is different. It's got like a bump, and that bump is now gone.
Right.
So probably once he started making money, he got that bump taken out.
Yeah.
Rumblefish, which is that's 1983. He's in that. I do not remember him at all. That's Francis Ford Coppola.
Next, wasn't that kind of like The Outsiders?
Yeah, it was made around the same time. Like I think it was Outsiders first and then Rumblefish. I like Rumblefish over the 2. I think it's beautifully shot. The score is great by Stuart Copeland. Stan Ridgway does the song in it, and I love Rumblefish. I thought it was better than The Outsiders. Racing with the Moon, 1984.
I don't think I watched that one.
Looks like he plays 2 roles, Nicky and Bud. Don't know.
There you go.
Working with his dad again, the Cotton Club, or our uncle again, Francis Ford Coppola, Cotton Club.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's a good one. It's a gangster thing. Birdie, got that, 1984.
Yeah.
Boy in Blue, which I think was
it was a TV movie, wasn't it?
No, it was in the theaters. I remember that. It's what's the rowing, where they're down in the boats that are like right on the water, and they're just doing this and like races. Right. I forget what it's called, but I think it was basically just Top Gun, but with that, because this is 1986.
It was the times,
Yeah, just everything had to be Top Gun at that time.
right?
Then Peggy Sue got married. Coppola
Yeah.
again, Francis Ford
Yeah.
Coppola, 1986. He was good in
Good
that.
movie. Yep.
A little crazy in it, so maybe that was the start of craziness. Man, he just had a year after year after year. Raising Arizona, 1987, great movie.
Great movie. Oh yeah.
See, that would have been on my list too, for if I did like a top 10 or top 20.
Yeah.
Moonstruck, Cher. So
Yep.
that was really good. He is uncredited in a film called Never on Tuesday, Man in Red Sports Car, 1988. Helping out a
Doesn't
friend,
ring a bell.
maybe?
Yeah, probably. Just didn't want his name on it.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, who knows? Vampire's Kiss, 1988. So, which we just talked about. Time to Kill, 1989. No idea.
No, I don't know why I keep thinking of Time to Kill, but I know that's not that movie.
Yeah, because this is just Time to Kill. Then there's A Time to Kill,
Right.
and then that like with Matthew McConaughey, Samuel L. Jackson. But then after that, 1990, Wild at Heart.
Yep.
Which I think was huge for him.
Oh yeah.
So it's funny. He does Moonstruck, which was huge, and then Vampire's Kiss. So now he does Wild at Heart and then Firebirds in the same year.
Right.
Then he does something, Industrial Symphony #1. It was a TV movie, 1990.
No idea on that one.
Don't know. Zandile, 1991.
I know I've seen it, but I think he has a beard in it, but I don't even think it's something that's available anymore. I couldn't even tell you anything about it, but I know I've seen it at least once.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I think I've only seen it on like VHS. Excuse me. Then one of his big ones, Honeymoon in Las Vegas, 1992. Yep. That was big.
Yep, good movie.
Then he did a strange one with Samuel L. Jackson, Amos and Andrew.
Yeah.
1993. That was a weird movie.
Yeah. Odd choice, but I guess that could be a lot of these.
I've never seen it, but it's yeah, I don't know. Then he did Red Rock West, which was good. 93.
Dennis Hopper, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deadfall, which was good.
Yeah.
That's 1993. And I believe Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, my favorite band, is in it. He has like a small part in it.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Guarding Tess, 1994.
Yeah, not bad.
It Could Happen to You, 1994. Which I think was a big one for him, the lottery ticket one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't not my favorite. He's just kind of playing like an everyman. Was he a cop, I think?
Yeah, it was originally called something like Cop Gives Waitress $20,000 lottery ticket, like was the original title, something like that. Then Trapped in Paradise, 1994. Kiss of Death, 1995 remake. That was interesting.
Yeah, I think I've only seen it once.
Leaving Las Vegas, 1995 Academy Award for that one.
Fantastic.
Who knew that he would end up in Las Vegas? So
that's true.
Now we get a few that are action, really action. Nicolas Cage, The Rock, 96.
Great.
Which they've said is actually a James Bond movie. They just couldn't call it that.
There you go.
Yeah, because of Sean Connery. They're saying that's his character is actually James Bond.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Con Air.
Love it.
Which once again ends with him in Las Vegas. Face Off, 1997.
Easily. I could definitely put that in the top 5.
It's an interesting flick. I mean,
yeah.
It's one of those ones where if it would never work in real life, just because of heights and then like the broadness and all that stuff, like the skull, like in a movie, it works perfectly, but in real life, this would never get pulled off. Like it just can't.
They keep talking about doing another one. I really wish they would.
As long as it has the two Travolta and him in it.
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah, it can't be somebody. Who cares if it's somebody else? And then it's just direct to video type garbage.
I hate when they do sequels to big movies like that and
Yeah.
nobody's in it from the original.
Like Backdraft 2,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, who cares?
Right.
City of Angels, 1998.
Yeah.
Good
that
flick.
big had that big Goo Goo Dolls song.
Yeah,
Iris.
Iris, I think
Yep.
it's called. Yeah, good
Yep.
song too. Snake Eyes,
Loved it.
Brian De Palma. I
Yep.
just watched again his documentary last night. It's on Tubi, and it's only up there now. I think in 7 days it leaves, so I wanted to watch it again. It's a great documentary on his film, starting from beginning to present, and he talks a lot about Snake Eyes and the original ending and all that type of stuff with the wave that hits the the casino and the park and
Yeah.
everything.
Another Las Vegas movie.
Was it in Las Vegas?
I mean, I'm going to assume if there's a big boxing match and it's a casino, maybe it wasn't, but I would think so. Or maybe Atlantic City.
I think it's Atlantic City because it takes place next to the ocean.
Oh, okay.
I think. Yeah, because they got the big flood at the end. Then after Snake Eyes, we got 1999, 8mm. So I used to own the script for that too.
That was one they did a sequel to that didn't have anybody in it.
Oh yeah, that's right. They did. Just 8mm with like a little 2.
Yeah.
And then he worked with Martin Scorsese, Bringing Out the Dead.
Love that movie.
That's a good film. That's 1999. And then we start off the 2000s. 2000 here, Gone in 60 Seconds, another remake.
Good movie.
With Angelina Jolie with I thought really ugly, like yellow hair. I thought she looked bad.
Yeah, she looked dirty in that movie.
Yeah, yeah, she did. Family Man, 2000, which I just fucking love. I've seen it like 5 times. And then 2001, I'm gonna maybe mispronounce this. Captain
Corelli's Mandolin.
Corelli's Mandolin. Thank you. So that was 2001. Never seen it.
Yeah, I think I've seen it once. I don't remember anything from it.
Okay. Then he did Christmas Carol, the movie, which was animated. He did the voice of Marley, 2001.
Don't remember it.
Wind Talkers, 2002.
Good movie.
Yeah, for the same director as Face Off.
It was what, John Woo?
John Woo, yeah.
Yeah.
Then Sunny, 2002. Adaptation, which I think is just friggin' brilliant.
Yeah, good movie.
Yeah, plays twins. So Donald and Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah.
Matt Stickman, love Matt Stickman. Thought that was really good.
Very good.
National Treasure, great fun.
Oh yeah.
So Matt Stickman is 2003. I hit on this. Go back. I don't want to touch it because it's gonna get out of it. Go back. Come on.
I'm really bummed he's not in the Disney Plus series.
They went woke with it. It's women. They once again they dumped the guy and put 2 women. It's gonna fail. It's gonna absolutely fail.
I didn't even watch it just because of that.
Yep, it's stuff that nobody wants.
But then also, supposedly they're still working on National Treasure 3 with him in it, so who knows? But they could turn that into a crossover thing.
Ugh, no, just
yeah.
Disney needs to stop these things. They really do. They just don't make money off of it. So okay, so here we go. So now we're back. So Matt Stickman, 2003, National Treasure, 2004. It's certain things like you can't replace certain actors, and they always do like this woke thing, where diversity and all this type of stuff enters it, and they ruin it. Instead of just making a good movie, like Disney just canceled the all-female Pirates of the Caribbean because they're trying to work out a deal with Johnny Depp. Yep. And if I was Johnny Depp, I'd be like, oh yeah, you're going to pay me like $20 million since you fucking fired me, and you were one of the people that helped put me through all this garbage.
Yeah, they'll pay it too.
Yeah, I think they should. Lord of War, 2005.
Great movie.
That was good. Weatherman, 2005.
Loved it.
Animated film, The Ant Bully. He did a voice in it, 2006.
I think I watched it when it came out, but I don't remember his character in it
Yeah, I
or the
don't think I ever
movie.
saw it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know of it, but never saw it.
right.
World Trade Center, that was
Good movie.
2006.
Oliver
Yeah,
Stone.
yeah, yeah. The Wicker Man, 2006.
Loved it.
The bees.
How'd it
Where
get
is
burned?
she? Where is she?
How did it get burned? How did it get burned?
How did it get burned? He's so crazy in that. It's so bad. It's awesome.
Yeah,
Ghost Rider, 2007.
it's all right.
I liked it. I thought he was a good pick, you know, especially with the dyed hair. I thought he looked like Johnny Blaze. Not as Superman. I'm so glad they never did that. He
Have
is
you seen the
not.
documentary about it?
Yeah, yeah.
It was pretty good.
It's a good documentary, but I think he would have been horrible. You know, because Superman is supposed to be the greatest looking man ever. That's the whole thing, is that he's supposed to be the perfect male.
Right.
And if you're gonna have somebody like Nicolas Cage do it, Nicolas Cage is not the perfect male. You know, he's just not.
I think they could get away with it now. Maybe not as a whole movie, but maybe as like a alternate universe thing where he has like a 10-15 minute cameo as that character. I think it could work. But I think even
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go on.
I think it'd have a better chance now. I think people would be more open to it just because of how many different superhero movies have came out. But I don't know if it'd work for a whole movie.
No, and going off of kind of like what you said, if they did some sort of multiverse thing, or you know, for DC, as a joke, you could have him show up as Superman.
Yeah.
So we got him as Superman. I think that would be really funny. I think that'd be great. You know, so yeah, so I could do it, yeah, for like a little cameo. I think it'd be funny.
Well, with this, the newest Doctor Strange movie, since that one kind of jumps around, the rumor was that Tom Cruise was going to be in it as Iron Man because he was originally the first choice to play Iron Man, and he turned it down.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Okay.
So that would have been funny, but it didn't happen.
That would have been interesting, you know, since they did get him to play Austin Powers in the Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
Which was pretty funny. And
for his character in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. So I love Cruise. Now the next one, I think, even though this was a trailer, it's one of his greatest performances. Fu Manchu in the Grindhouse trailer with the for the werewolf women of the SS.
Fantastic.
I think he is a great choice to play Fu Manchu.
Yeah, that was so good.
And that's just his voice. Like, he doesn't do like an Asian accent. He doesn't do anything like that, like Christopher Lee did. It's just Nicolas Cage as Fu Manchu.
Yeah.
I thought that I love perfect casting. It's Rob Zombie to me is hit and miss, but man, whoever suggested Nicolas Cage, brilliant. Next, which was 2007.
Liked it.
But I enjoyed it. I liked it. It kind of breaks its own rules from time to time, and I don't really understand how his premonitions work, but I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. National Treasure, Book of Secrets.
Yeah.
So that's 2007. Not as good as the first one, and he has the weird black hair.
Yeah.
That kind of like Tom Hanks had for a while. Like both of them had that weird dyed black hair.
Yeah, like around the same time. That was like Tom Hanks' hair in the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, it's like, why is this? Like, I get it's like Nick Cage's hair being dyed for Ghost Rider, but it's like, okay, you have brown hair. Stop it. It looks weird. It looks like you're trying to hide gray.
Yeah.
You know. Then we got Bangkok Dangerous, 2008.
I liked it, just for a straight up action movie.
Yeah, remake, but it's good. Knowing, 2009, loved Knowing.
Liked it. Good movie.
I thought that was really good. G-Force, which was animated with the I think they're guinea pigs. Yeah, so he does one of the voices, 2009. Then one of your favorites, also 2009, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans.
Great movie.
So crazy.
Yeah.
And of course that's what's her face from Ghost Rider.
Eva Longoria.
Yeah. So she's back. So they must get along. Astro Boy, he does a voice, 2009.
think I've seen it, but I don't remember it.
Then one of my favorite performances by him. I mean, I think, if he can't be Batman, he might as well be Big Daddy. So 2010, Kick Ass.
Yeah,
So good in that.
yeah, he was.
Sorcerer's Apprentice, 2010.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it since it came out, but I remember I liked it.
Yeah, I don't remember a thing from it. I know I saw it in the theater and I don't remember anything. Then Season of the Witch, 2011. I remember liking that.
I know now I need to watch it again.
Yeah, I saw it at a sneak preview, like, came out like 2 weeks later, something like that. One of those.
Yeah.
I remember liking it.
Yeah.
Drive Angry, 2011.
I loved it.
Yeah, that's a great one. Seeking Justice. I know of it, but never saw it. 2011.
Yeah, I know I've seen it, but I don't remember anything. I don't remember. I know I didn't dislike it, but I don't remember anything about it.
So maybe now we're getting into that like you said, 10
stuff.
years. Yeah. Because then the next is Trespass with Nicole Kidman, 2011.
Yeah, it was okay. Home invasion movie.
Ghost Rider 2, Spirit of Vengeance, which was
okay.
Okay, wasn't great. Yeah, so now we're definitely in that area. Stolen, 2012.
I know I've seen it, but I don't remember anything. Like it's in a lot of, like, you showed that multi-pack. That's definitely one that and Trespass is one they always throw into those multi-packs. Yeah. I don't remember disliking it, but another one that'll probably be the answer for a lot of these. I don't remember anything special about it either.
Yeah, I've never seen it. It's Frozen Ground is the next one with John Cusack, 2013.
That was good. He was like a cop hunting down a serial killer in Alaska, I think.
I would like that then, yeah, because I love movies in snow.
Yeah.
Then he did kind of a big animated thing after that. The Croods, where he did a voice, 2013.
Yep, he was the dad.
Now we're back to straight to video. Joe, 2013.
Joe was all right. It was him playing an everyday man with a past.
Rage, 2014.
Another kind of similar answer. It was good, not great. I don't remember anything about it though.
Outcast, which you own, that's 2014.
Weird, different.
Left Behind, 2014. And the reason, maybe you know this or not, but the reason why he did Left Behind is because Nick Cage's brother is a priest.
Really?
Yeah, and so he recommended, why don't you do the Left Behind film? And he did it because his brother suggested it.
Wow.
Yeah.
No idea.
Dying of the Light, 2014. It
was okay. I think he's either a cop or a lieutenant.
The Runner, 2015.
Seen it, don't remember it.
I have a feeling a lot of these are going to blend in together. Pay the Ghost, 2015.
That was weird. That was filmed. They shot that one in New Orleans. I think when he was living down there or just doing a lot of stuff down there. But it was like a Mardi Gras conspiracy where apparently that's the last thing somebody would say before they got abducted. And it happened to his son.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know of it. I might have seen like a trailer or something for it.
Yeah, it's okay.
The Trust, 2016.
Yeah, that one he's got a mustache and he's with Ethan Hawke and they like not Ethan Hawke, Elijah Wood. And they're like security guards or something, and they end up they're trying to break into a safe.
Okay.
Not bad.
All right. Eat the Dog, 2000. Man, a lot of these are 2016. Eat the Dog, 2016.
It was okay. Him and Willem Dafoe just got out of prison, and like they're old mobsters trying to get money owed to them or something like that.
Okay. Then he was in the movie about Snowden, 2016. So I don't know if that's probably independent. I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one.
Then he was in the USS Indianapolis film, which we all know the story from Jaws.
Yeah.
I think it's just called Men of Courage. It's like that's little subtitle to it. That's 2016.
Own it, but I don't think I've seen that one.
Army of One, 2016.
Fantastic.
Oh, really?
Based on a true story about a guy that keeps going to Afghanistan to try to kill Osama bin Laden.
Oh, okay.
Nicolas Cage is that guy, and like he's just of course an odd duck, but apparently God or Jesus visited him and told him to go do that. And God in this movie is played by Russell Brand.
Oh, geez. Doesn't that guy have a big enough ego as it is?
But it's like at the end of the movie, it shows real footage of like the real guy coming back from one of his trips to Afghanistan because he goes like 5 or 6 times to try to find him.
Oh, wow. Okay. I kind of like Russell Brand. I liked him in the Judd Apatow stuff. I thought he was funny. But then when I listened to him on his podcast, it's just like, dude, I can't stand if you're like, or I don't understand if you're like a conspiracy nut or what. But he's yeah, I don't know. He could be weird.
He's not in it much. So, I mean, if you don't like him, it won't really take away from the movie.
Okay. Yeah, it's one to look. Okay, I'll check that one out. Arsenal 2017.
Own it. Don't think I've seen it.
Vengeance, a Love Story 2017.
It was okay. I think he's like a detective investigating a rape, I think.
Okay. I keep hitting these with my finger. I got to do this softer because then I got to wait for it to go back. Okay. Softly, John, softly. Inconceivable 2017.
If I remember right, it's almost like a Basic Instinct kind of thing. Or not Basic Instinct, but Indecent Proposal. Like another variation of that.
Okay. Mom and Dad 2017.
Good stuff.
Then also 2017, the Humanity Bureau, which I liked. I thought that was pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's a dystopian type film, so I like that. I thought that was done pretty well. Dark 2017.
Dark?
Yeah, just Dark.
I don't think I've seen that one. I don't even think I've heard of that one.
Come on, go back. There it goes. Yeah, he plays Evan Lake. Don't know otherwise. Mandy 2018. So
weird.
That's
Different.
that's good. Yeah, one of his best, I think.
Yeah, he's nuts in that movie.
Looking Glass 2018.
That was he bought a like old rundown 10 to 12 room hotel and found out the guy living there had put peepholes in each one of the rooms. And he's looking through one of the peepholes one night and witnesses a murder, I think.
Huh, okay.
It was all right.
211 2018.
Watched it, don't remember it.
Oh, here he plays Superman. Teen Titans Go, the movies, 2018, Superman voice.
Yeah.
There he is. So he got to play Superman finally.
Yep.
Okay.
He sure did. It wasn't a big part, but he was Superman.
Between Worlds, he plays Joe, 2018.
That was a weird one. Like he's a supernatural kind of guy.
Okay. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, he plays Spider-Man Noir voice, 2018.
That was good. He had like an old mobster, like 1930s, 1950s gangster voice. It was pretty good.
A Score to Settle, 2019.
Yeah. Two different movies.
Yeah. Color Out of Space, 2019. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I like that one.
Man, then we get back into stuff I've never heard of. Running with the Devil, 2019. He plays the cook.
I think it's a Lawrence Fishburne movie he's in there with, but I don't remember anything other than that.
Kill Chain, 2019.
That wasn't bad. That one actually I didn't even know it existed, and I think I saw it on Prime Video. And it's like him and some people like held up at an old hotel.
Okay. Primal, 2019.
Ugh. Weird movie. He's like on a cargo ship, and like a tiger gets let loose on the ship. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, there's a picture of a tiger behind him. Okay. Grand Isle, 2019.
It was okay. Him and Kelsey Grammer. Like I don't know if he cheated on, or Kelsey Grammer's wife cheated on him with Nicolas Cage or something like that. Like I don't know. It was okay.
All right. Jiu-Jitsu, which I do want to see. I've never seen it, but I've heard mixed on that one. That's 2020.
If I remember right, it was pretty rough.
Yeah, I haven't heard too many good things, but I've heard some people do like it.
Yeah.
Mostly I think just because it's Nicolas Cage.
Right.
The Croods, A New Age, so part 2 to that one. He does the voice in that. 2020.
Haven't seen the
Jiu-Jitsu
second
was
one.
also 2020. Then Prisoners of the Ghostland 2021. He plays Hero.
Yeah, that's a good like post-apocalyptic movie. Bill Moseley's the bad guy in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Willy's Wonderland 2001. He plays the janitor. Pig 2021.
I liked it. I don't. It's. It got. I think it was maybe so hyped that by the time I watched it, I've watched Nicolas Cage for long enough. It wasn't so surprising to me his role, but it was still a good movie.
I've heard great things, so yeah, I really do want to see it, but it's one of those ones I gotta kind of be in the mood for, I think.
Right.
Then of course the Unbearable Weight, so that there, which we've talked about, replays Nick Cage and Nikki. That's 2022. So, and I've heard mixed about that. Some people were hoping for something bigger, greater, stranger, weirder, and it seemed to be pretty straightforward from what I understand.
Yeah, I mean, they could have. For me, they could have added more Nicolas Cage Easter eggs, like watching the special features like that, or that South by Southwest. Also, he didn't want to do the movie when he got offered it, and the big reason why he wanted to do it was because of the Nikki character. Like he liked that more than because he didn't want to play himself. But it's good. They made it where he's just like some old aging actor, and not a good husband, not a good father, and just. But I still liked it. I mean, I really liked it. I wouldn't say I liked it. It was good. It was anytime he's in theaters and gets people talking, it's definitely something I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's a good thing. From what it kind of sounds like, even though it's a completely opposite movie, but the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, that JVCD.
Oh yeah,
where he plays himself, and like I think it's like a bank robbery, and
right.
if I remember correctly, and he's like, that's not me. Like I'm not the guy in the movies,
right.
But they think he is. So they kind of send him in, and he does that great scene where I wish Steven Seagal would do the same type of thing, where he kind of floats up in the chair and he talks about all the shit that he's done through the years to people, almost like saying sorry, but as that character, and I love that movie. I think it's the best thing that Van Damme's ever done.
I like him. I'll give him a lot of chances. Steven Seagal, not so much.
No, he just kind of comes off as a dick.
Yeah.
Now, the last regular one is Butcher's Crossing 2022.
That one might not be out yet. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it doesn't say like coming soon or anything. And then so upcoming 7 films. So let's see what 7 films he has upcoming. So these aren't really in any sort of order. Well, kind of in some sort of order. So maybe they start up here. Okay, they start up here. So The Retirement Plan, post-production 2022.
Haven't heard of that one.
The Old Way, completed 2023. Renfield, Dracula 2023. That's in post-production.
Excited about that.
Sympathy for the Devil, he plays the passenger, which is in post-production 2023. Sand and Stones, in production 2023. Long Legs, some of these ones we listed off as producer too. Long Legs, pre-production 2024. And then a film that does not have a date, Dream Scenario, post-production. So that's it. That's everything Nicolas Cage has done. At least that's on IMDb. So, wow, we just went through like 110, somewhere like 110 and 115 movies. Wow.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage, if you ever watch this, you better like that. So, so what else can you say about Nicolas Cage? And then we'll kind of wrap this up.
I mean, I don't know. Like he's always, ever since I was a teenager, I mean, he's always been my favorite actor, and probably to a fault where I'll give him, like I was saying earlier, like I can't really think of a movie that I didn't like him in. Maybe just a bad movie, but I can't really say that for too many other ones. Like I'm also a big Tom Cruise fan. Maybe not so much the person, but definitely the actor. But I mean, it's just and I don't know for that, maybe my like of Nick Cage has grown with people like kind of just like their like of him has kind of gone down. Like a big thing in that Unbearable Weight movies because Neil Patrick Harris plays his agent, and it's one of those like whenever he gets offered a role, it's like you're back. Not that I ever really left, and that's kind of how I feel about him. Like he hasn't left for me. To some of these other people, he's making his comeback, but I've stuck with him through all this direct to video stuff. So I mean, I'm glad he's showing up again in the public eye, even though it's not like he never really left for me as a fan.
Well, yeah, I guess for movie fans, if you go into the Walmarts and the Targets and yeah, the Red Box, you always see these Nick Cage movies or the Bruce Willis movies, and they're like, oh, I had no idea, because it was just made to do that. That's he just makes them to pay off his debt. And
yeah,
what do you think about all of his marriages? Like he kind of seems to be like a serial marriage guy.
didn't he have one recently where they were married on a Friday and like divorced on a Sunday or Monday kind of thing?
Let me see here. Let me do Wikipedia for that one.
Or maybe then like 48 to 72 hours. I wonder if that's one of those things where it's just immediately annulled and then it's like it didn't really happen. But I want to say it was almost like a weekend thing.
Okay, so here we go here. So he has 3 kids. Family is Coppola. He's been acting since 1981. He's an actor producer, born in 64, so he's 58. Okay, so his first wife is Patricia Arquette. So that was
they're married for a while, weren't they?
Yeah, 95 to 2001. Then this was the sham marriage. I believe this was only because he's obsessed with Elvis that he married Lisa Marie Presley, and that was 2002 to 2004. I think that was just an Elvis thing.
Oh yeah, just a notch on his belt.
Yeah. And then I've never heard of these other people. Alice Kim, 2004 to 2. I mean, he gets divorced in 2004, then gets married again in 2004 to 2016. Erica Kolke, married 2019, divorced 2019. Maybe
that's
like
what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, maybe that's like a green card thing. Who knows?
Yeah, could be.
And then currently 2001, Rico. Oh God, I don't even have no idea how to pronounce his last name. Shibata, maybe. So that's what he's married to right now. I know it's kind of like, I'm a big Beatles fan. I'm a huge Paul McCartney fan. And it's like, dude, why do you have to always be married? Why? You're always on tour. You're always making albums. You're always doing TV appearances. Do you really need to be married? I mean, one of your wives, the one with the fake leg, was a con woman, and you didn't even have, she like talked you out of signing a prenup. And so once he found out that she was a con woman, she got half of his stuff. And Linda was his muse, and she died of cancer, unfortunately. And then after that, it's just like, dude, just calm down. Why do people always have to get married? I don't understand it.
It seems like the older they get, the younger their wives are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just strange to me. And it's just like, dude, Nick Cage, you're always making movies. Do you need to be married all the time? I mean, I don't understand it. Why not just, I don't know, spend your money on yourself, enjoy traveling and doing what you do. You just don't need to buy the Elephant Man's bones and stuff, just calm down with spending. You don't need to own 8 houses around the world. And, so it just seems really unnecessary, but, now it's just something else to spend money on. So I don't know, but
and his son's in a rock band. I don't remember the name of it, but I've seen a picture of them two together, and like his son was in like full on like makeup for this band, like they're like a goth band or whatever. It's like when you're still supportive of your son, even though you don't understand, and it's like Nicolas Cage standing next to his son.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, no, it just says 3 kids. That's it, but it doesn't say who they are.
Yeah, I don't remember his son's name or what the name of the band was. I just remember seeing pictures of like him at one of their concerts.
Cage was born in Long Beach, California, to August Coppola. He was raised Catholic. His grandparents, Carmine Coppola, so that'd be Francis's dad. He is the nephew to director Francis Ford Coppola and actress Talia Shire, and cousins to directors Romain Coppola and Sophie Coppola, film producer, and actors Robert and Jason Schwartzman. I'm trying to see about his son here, but yeah, it doesn't say. So I mean that's all right. So
his son's name is Weston. His son's name is Weston Coppola Cage. He was the frontman in the now disbanded LA black metal band Eyes of Noctum, and is currently working on a solo black metal project called All One, alone with an extra L.
Okay.
Probably can't see the picture, but that's him with his son.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's good. Well, at least the son is in music and just not movies. So
Right.
doing something a little different, which is fine. I think it's easier for a musician to act than it is for an actor to do music. Very few do that transition, but we always like to see musicians in movies. I don't know why there's a difference, but I guess seeing David Bowie in a movie is exciting, but seeing Billy Bob Thornton sing is not.
Right. I want to say go in that direction. They almost get a better shot, like Bruce Willis's band or Kevin Costner's band. Like it's, people are going to see you just because it's you performing live. But if you're, Jared Leto or David Bowie or whatever, I think they get a better open-mindedness to see them act in a movie than vice versa.
God, Jared Leto's a weirdo with his cult.
Yeah, that he is.
Well, and at least Leto, he acted, and then that 30 Seconds to Mars, from what I understand, was a joke. Like it was a joke band. Like they never planned on it being big. And then they had that hit song. And then they're like, well, shit, let's go tour.
Yeah, they were big for a bit.
Yeah. And then he toured for a long time. And then he came back to be in that the Trans movie that he did with Matthew McConaughey, where he won the Academy Award. Because I remember
Dallas Buyers Club.
Yeah. And I remember him on stage saying, wow, this is great. Like I've been gone for 5 years and you guys welcome me back with this award. So yeah. So I guess he was one of the few people that could go over, and their band was a big hit. And then he got an Academy Award.
Right.
So, but all these other guys, yeah. I mean, like I like Johnny Depp, but I don't know if I'd ever want to go see his band or him playing. I don't really care. But if he was maybe with another person, like an actual musician, like he's been touring with, I would go.
Well, his group Hollywood Vampires is Alice Cooper and Joe Perry from Aerosmith and somebody else. I mean, at least he's got some talent around him, so they have a shot.
Yeah, and you go for those reasons. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because who is he touring with now? I forget. Somebody big.
Oh, I don't know.
It's somebody known that he wasn't there for the verdict in the trial. But he was in England and he was with that a musician, and I'm blanking now on who. Somebody known. See, maybe quickly take a look at this and we'll call it a day here. Let's see, Johnny Depp. Maybe just music. Tour. Let's see. Okay, who is Johnny Depp on tour with? Well, it does say Alice Cooper, Joe Perry, Tommy Hendrickson, but that's not who it is. Oh, Jeff Beck.
Oh, okay.
That's who he was in England with, was Jeff Beck. Yeah, and that's where all of the Amber Turd supporters were getting really pissed off that like she was in court and he wasn't. and he was out touring, and everybody was supporting him, and all of her followers, really hated it that he was getting all this praise, and people were out there supporting him for that, music and all that stuff. So,
Right.
hey, I supported him.
Yeah.
I supported him from day one. So I knew it was bogus. Never heard anything about him hurting anybody. And then all of a sudden, but hey, that's a whole different video. So, all right, man. Well, let's wrap this up. Any last words?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm definitely enjoyed it. I'm always down to talk Nicolas Cage, so this is definitely a fun one to finally to do for our first time.
Yeah,
chatting together.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you were here. Thank you. I'm so glad that you were able to do this, and yeah. So if we get more movies, then maybe we could do it again. So we'll do like a part 2 or something like that. So. All right. Well, then I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and everybody have a good Thanksgiving, because we're right there. And Cody, you have a good Thanksgiving.
Thanks, you too, buddy.
So thanks. I appreciate it. And thanks everybody for watching. Hit all that stuff down below, the like, the share, comments if you want to. What's your favorite Nick Cage movies? Give us a list of 5 if you want to down there. Let me know what you like or dislike, or whatever it is. So be curious to see what other people's choices are. So, but all right. So I tend to ramble at the very end. So, because I just don't want to leave, but I have to. So, all right, everybody, take it easy, and I will talk with you later. Okay. Thanks. Bye.